Well, hello again, sports fans. This is the latest flight of my new Nano Talon FPV basher plane. I'm not sure how long she flies for on the 1500 milliamp battery I'm using, so I've installed a Hobby King Mini OSD with some current and voltage sensors to give me a better idea of how much current I'm using and how long I can stay. So I'll be monitoring and recording this flight with my new eShine headset with the diversity antennas. And I'm putting the Nano Talon in launch mode, and it'll be staying in that mode for the entire flight. So my new OSD shows me that I'm using just over 10 amps to launch, which I quickly brought down to about 5 amps, and now I'm just trying to work out what the most effective cruising speed is where I maintain reasonable altitude. So it doesn't take real long to work out that it's between 2.3 and about 2.6 amps seems to be a comfortable amount of current to cruise at, and if I can keep it round about that, I should get the maximum possible flight time. So it's another lovely summer's day here in Canberra. The winds are light and probably ideal conditions to learn how to fly this Nano Talon properly. So I'm trying to do most of my course corrections with the rudder rather than the ailerons, and yeah, she seems to be going quite well. I'm pretty pleased with how she's been handling. I'm also pretty pleased with the performance of the diversity headset. So far, when I'm just doing circuits, I really haven't had to move my head from one side to the other. The pictures remained pretty solid regardless of where in the field the plane is. I do get a few glitches when it goes behind a tree, but just in normal open flight it seems to be really good. This dam's about half a kilometre away from us and over the crest of the shoulder of the nearby hill, so again, can't complain about the quality of the video that it's picking up. So the interference that I'm starting to pick up now is actually coming from Gary's two-stroke motor in his Watch 4, which he's just started up and he's taxied out past me. So it really is, I don't know why I get the interference from these internal combustion engines, but I always do, and today is no different. So I climb to a reasonable altitude and just start doing conventional circuits just to make sure he's got a clear takeoff run. So I'm just coming up on the strip, and I come down a little bit lower to see if I can catch a glimpse of him on the video, and I do. He's taxiing out in preparation for turning around and taking off into the wind. So I decided that this is probably a good opportunity to test out how well I can actually control the Nano Talon and try a bit of a tail chase. I can hear he's taken off, so I just reduce the throttle and lurk around and see if I can catch a glimpse of him, and lo and behold, he goes shooting past the end of my nose and the chase is on. He's obviously very pleased to have got the plane in the air. He just can't control himself and executes a lovely little roll. So obviously the Watch 4 is quite capable of going a lot faster than me, and Gary seems to be executing quite a few altitude changes, so I've I'm just content to sit back and see if I can keep him in the video frame regardless of what distance. I'll try and keep as close as I can, but I don't expect to get that close. I'm actually quite surprised that I've been able to keep him centered this long. I quite often lose planes against the background of that hill, but so far it hasn't happened. I am tending to lose him a bit in the turns. He's not flying exactly the same size circuits, but it doesn't seem to be too hard to pick him back up again, as it happens here. So I'm a fair bit above him, and I'll start shedding some of the altitude and obviously pick up a bit of speed and manage to get a bit closer to him. He starts to pull away, of course, and I increase the throttle a bit to see if I've any chance of catching him. He puts the hammer down a bit at this stage, and yeah, he just pulls away. I increase the throttle, but I'm not keeping up with him at all. So I just cut the corner and catch him on the way back. I'm not sure where he's going here, but I lose him for a couple of minutes and then pick him up on the next circuit. I think he's doing some practice landing approaches at this stage, but I'm not 100% certain. I'm starting to get some glitches from the video as I fly directly overhead, which is really only to be expected. So he does a fairly short circuit on that time and actually comes in for landing, and I miss it on the video, but he's still on the strip when I come down for a low pass. There he is on the right hand side, so he's got down in one piece and hasn't even run into the grass. So the OSD is doing a fine job of telling me that I've been up for 15 minutes, but I still have 11 volts. So I'm pretty comfortable with the flight time so far. I really won't start to panic until I see that voltage go down to about 10.5. So I decided to just do a few lowish passes around the field just to get some idea of how long I can continue on. The glitches on the video I've cleaned up now that Gary's turned his plane off, so there's no doubt at all that it's associated with these internal combustion engines, those glitches. Just following this track to check out the state of the bore re-drill, and the drilling rig's gone, but there's still a bobcat parked there, so there must be some more work to be done. I'm not sure what. So the timer's coming up to 20 minutes and I'm a little bit weary, so I decide to bring it in for a landing. I'm pretty pleased though that there's still more than 11 volts in the tank even after those increased throttle chases I was doing with Gary, so it bodes well for longer flights in the future. I'm starting to have less trouble staying in the middle of the strip on the landing, so that's another good thing. So there you go, down in one piece with gas in the tank. Who'd have thought it? So once again, I've really enjoyed the flight. I found it a lot easier following Gary's plane than I expected to. And I'm really pleased with how the OSD has helped. In fact, I'm so pleased I've decided I'm going to hook up the GPS antenna, so I've got speed and altitude and distance data to add to the mix. So watch this space.